More knowledge. JustProfessor here, you keep getting hurt because you think the world owes you fairness. Every time something bad happens, you ask why. Why me? Why now? Why is this happening when I did everything right? You compare yourself to others who have it easier. You see people who work less but get more. People who try less but succeed more. People who deserve less but receive more, and it eats at you. Because in your mind, life should be fair. Good things should happen to good people. Hard work should be rewarded. Right actions should lead to right outcomes, but they do not. And every time life proves this, you feel betrayed, angry, hopeless, because you are operating on a rule that does not exist. This is called the fairness fallacy, and it is destroying your peace. Here's how it works. Your brain is wired to notice unfairness. It is a survival mechanism. Humans are social creatures. We need to cooperate. And cooperation only works when things feel balanced, when everyone contributes equally, when rewards match effort. So your brain constantly scans for imbalance. And when it finds it, you feel it, deeply, painfully, like something is fundamentally wrong with the world. But here's the problem. Life is not a system designed for fairness. It is not a game with rules. It is not a balance sheet where good deeds equal good outcomes. Life is random, chaotic, indifferent. Things happen for no reason. Bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to terrible people. And no amount of doing the right thing guarantees you will get what you deserve. That is not pessimism. That is reality, but your brain refuses to accept it. So it keeps expecting fairness. And every time life is not fair, you suffer. This is why the fairness fallacy is so dangerous. It sets you up for constant disappointment. Because you are measuring your life against a standard that does not exist. And every time reality does not match that standard, you feel robbed, cheated, wronged. But you were not wronged. You just expected something that was never promised. Most people do not realize how much energy they waste on fairness. They replay situations in their mind. They list all the reasons why something was unfair. They imagine how things should have gone. They compare themselves to people who got luckier. And they feel bitter, resentful, stuck, because in their mind, if life were fair, they would be happier. But life is not fair. So they just stay angry. Think about the last time you felt treated unfairly. Maybe at work. Maybe in a relationship. Maybe just in general. What did you do? You probably spent hours thinking about it. Analyzing it. Explaining to yourself or others why it was wrong. Why you deserved better. Why they did not deserve what they got. And all that thinking did nothing. It did not change the situation. It did not make you feel better. It just kept you trapped in a loop of bitterness. This is what the fairness fallacy does. It makes you focus on what should have happened instead of what actually happened. And while you are focused on the should, you miss the opportunity to deal with the is. You waste time being angry about unfairness instead of adapting to reality. And that anger does not hurt the people who treated you unfairly, it just hurts you. Now think about how this shows up in your daily life. You work hard at your job, but someone else gets the promotion. And instead of thinking about what you can do differently, you just think about how unfair it is. You focus on their luck, their connections, their advantages, and you feel stuck. Because in your mind you did everything right, so the world owes you success, but it does not. And waiting for fairness will not get you promoted, action will. But you are too busy being angry to take action. You treat people well, but they treat you badly. And instead of setting boundaries or walking away, you just keep waiting for them to realize how unfair they are being. You think, if I keep being good, they will eventually see it and change. And if treating you badly works for them, they will keep doing it. Not because they are evil, but because fairness is not a natural law. It is a hope. And hoping will not protect you. Boundaries will. But you are too busy expecting fairness to set boundaries. You face a setback that was out of your control. An illness, a loss, a bad break. And instead of focusing on recovery, you focus on why it happened to you. You think about all the people who did not face this, all the people who have it easier. And you feel robbed. Like life took something from you that it should not have. But life does not follow should. It just happens. And while you are stuck on why, time keeps moving, opportunities pass, and you stay frozen in your sense of injustice. This is the trap. The fairness fallacy makes you reactive instead of proactive. It makes you wait for the world to fix itself instead of fixing your own situation. It makes you focus on what you deserve instead of what you can control. And that focus keeps you powerless. Because you cannot control fairness, you can only control your response. But here's what most people miss. Letting go of fairness does not mean accepting injustice. It does not mean you stop caring about right and wrong. It does not mean you become cold or cynical. It just means you stop expecting life to operate on fairness. You stop waiting for the world to reward you just because you did the right thing. You stop measuring your worth by whether life treats you fairly, and that shift changes everything. When you stop expecting fairness, you stop feeling betrayed. You stop comparing yourself to people who got luckier. You stop waiting for karma to fix things. You stop obsessing over why bad things happen. And you start focusing on what you can actually do. You start adapting, adjusting, moving forward. Not because life is fair, but because staying stuck does not help. This means the fairness fallacy is not just about being wrong. It is about staying stuck. Every moment you spend angry about unfairness is a moment you are not spending on solutions. Every time you focus on what should have happened, you miss what could happen next. Every time you wait for the world to balance itself, you give up your power to create your own balance, and that is the real cost. Not the unfairness itself, but the way you let it paralyze you. So here's what you need to understand. Life does not owe you fairness. It never did. And waiting for it will not make it appear. You can work hard and fail. You can be kind and get hurt. You can do everything right and still lose, and none of that means you are cursed. None of that means the universe is against you. It just means life is unpredictable, random, indifferent. And once you accept that, you stop wasting energy on bitterness. This does not mean you stop trying. It does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you accept mistreatment. It just means you stop expecting life to reward you automatically. You stop measuring success by fairness. You stop letting unfairness drain you, and you start focusing on what you can control. Your actions, your responses, your choices. Because those are the only things that matter. Not what you deserve, but what you do. The fairness fallacy tells you that life should be balanced, but life is not a scale. It is not keeping score. It does not care about fairness. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop suffering over it. You stop feeling robbed every time something goes wrong. You stop comparing your struggles to other people's ease. You stop waiting for justice. And you start building your own life regardless of whether life treats you fairly or not. Fairness is not a rule. It is a wish. And you cannot build a life on wishes. You can only build it on actions. So stop waiting for the world to be fair. Start acting like it never will be. And watch how much lighter you feel when you stop carrying the weight of expecting something that was never guaranteed. Subscribe if you want to stop letting false expectations control your life.